office on Friday, we planned a very fun show. It was going to be light on. We were going to come out here, talk about little Kim Jong-Trump and his big military parade / quinceañera and how it meant that we all live in North Korea now, and all the hyperbole of this massive display of American military power really butted up against what the parade actually was, which was this. Was that tank squeaking? We have $1 trillion budget for the military. Nobody's got WD-40. Nobody. Squeaky tank. Nobody can just go in there. This was less a show of overwhelming force and more like a military museum getting in its steps. It was actually kind of nice and fun. It took you through the history of the Army, from its days of tri-cornered hats and muskets to its brave future as robot dog walkers. Hey. Who's going to clean up these ball bearings? You just going to... Who's got a 3-kiloton explosive nose? You do. You do. Can I boop? No, probably not. But for all the hype, it was a relatively reserved, not particularly well-attended event that left all the VIPs lucky enough to see it bored out of their f***ing minds. Meanwhile, the real crowds turned out for the No Kings March, where millions gathered in cities all across the country to protest our slow descent into authoritarian dystopia. They protested and showed off all the hats they made. And in Boston, the No Kings Parade conveniently coincided with the Pride Parade. And it was... wait a minute. The gays have developed robot dogs as well? The gays have the advanced technology? Or are those just the gay robot dogs that Secretary of Defense Hegseth wouldn't allow to serve openly in our other army? Is that... They're not allowed to serve? Well, guess what, Secretary Hegseth? They are serving. The point is, No Kings appeared to be a rousing success, and the military parade's failure to succeed in its grandiose objectives can be described in really this one Fox News clip, and I promise you, we did not edit this in any way.
If I was the Ayatollah watching Fox News coverage, which I hope he is, of this parade, I would be very frightened, and I would be thinking twice about whether I want to retaliate against the United States.
The Ayatollah would be frightened. They're waving. Does the Ayatollah know the Americans have obtained jazz hands? Surrender or dance! But as always, reality was no match for President Donald Trump, who set a very specific and low bar of success for his birthday parade.
Last night was a tremendous success with a fantastic audience. It was supposed to rain. They gave it a 100% chance of rain, and it didn't rain at all. It was beautiful.
Nothing says I just turned 79 like shouting about how the weather forecast was wrong. It was a tremendous success. They said it would rain. I knew it wouldn't rain. You know how I knew? My right knee didn't bark. it's going to rain, it always bugs. You see? That show about that stuff. Fun, carefree, light, enjoyable. Old man talking weather, gay robot dogs. The world that could have been, you, the viewer, would have enjoyed. But the reason why we couldn't spend the whole show on the parade, perhaps the reason why the parade wasn't as extravagant as it could have been, was because our most impressive military shit this weekend was being used elsewhere.
Tonight, Israel announcing it has launched a military strike against Iran. Smoke seen rising in Tehran in video posted online.
And overnight, Iranian strikes in Israel. Retaliation, it says, for Israel's attack on its nuclear, military and energy infrastructure.
Now there are concerns about how much this could escalate.
Could? Could escalate? The whole f***ing region is escalate. It's all on fire. This is a wedding video from Lebanon over the weekend. Missiles, fireworks, doesn't matter. I now pronounce you man and duck. But what happened with Iran? Weren't we about to make a nuclear deal? Wasn't our deal maker in chief making a deal to keep Iran from enriching uranium? Actually, didn't we have a deal before our deal maker in chief so wisely pulled us from that deal? Why did this have to go balmy on Iran now?
And by next spring, at most by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage.
Iran is months away from having a nuclear bomb, says Netanyahu, in 2012. By the way, did Iran happen to get that bomb from a company called Acme? Like, will it be delivered to Israel on rocket-powered skates? Will it go off in a tumultuous meep? Seriously, why did we have to bomb Iran now?
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
Holy shit, that's why. Iran's only weeks away from having an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs, says Netanyahu. In 2015. 2015. Think about that. Back when we all thought, oh no, the Republicans might nominate that madman Jeb Bush. Should have gone with the question mark. No, seriously, I'm not being facetious. I really want to know why we had to bomb Iran now.
We're going to show you Iran's secret nuclear files. Here's the warhead. Here's the bomb.
And that's from 2018. I don't know if Iran is any closer to having a bomb, but it is clear Israel now has the capacity to enrich their drawings. Netanyahu, I swear to God, Netanyahu talks about Iran getting nukes the way I talk about the Knicks winning a title. This is the year. The Knicks are one piece away. Weeks away from winning a title. But they never win a f***ing title. Of course, a hot war between Israel and Iran could threaten the United States. It's best we stay out of it.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying Israel took unilateral action against Iran and that the U.S. is not involved in strikes.
We're not involved. That's good. That's good.
The U.S. says it was informed beforehand.
Good neighbor policy. I mean, we were informed. They let us know. Still not being involved, really.
President Trump acknowledged yesterday that he was aware of the Israeli operation, and he gave it a green light.
what they're talking about. We were told, we approved. It's still Israel's game.
Israel used American equipment during its initial strikes against Iran.
What the f*** are we doing? All right, so we knew, and we approved, and we gave them all the shit to do it with. I'm confused. Are we involved? I think I need clarification from our parade grand marshal in chief.
The president made it clear that the United States is not involved. He wanted to make that very clear, but at the same time, it's possible that we could get involved, but we're not involved at this moment.
See? We're Switzerland. Perhaps the reason why the president is being cagey about all this is because not all of the MAGA are embracing Netanyahu's bomb fetishes.
We cannot be inexorably dragged into a war in the Middle East.
We put America first, and that means American interests first.
Our MAGA base, they do not want the United States to be engaged in this.
I don't know anyone that wakes up and thinks about bombing Iran.
She doesn't know anyone who wakes up and thinks about bombing Iran. I got to tell you. I don't think she knows anyone who wakes up and thinks. But credit. They enjoyed that one. But you know what? I'm going to say this. This may surprise some people. Credit where credit is due. I certainly have tremendous policy and, in some instances, space laser differences with these folks. But I applaud any group that is steadfast in a diplomacy-first posture. The only problem with their posture that I see with it is their reluctance to commit America's military to fighting drawn-out and often pointless wars doesn't seem to extend to America.
President Trump should fully deploy the military in the streets. Take back the streets of L.A. Do it and do it fast.
Huh? Doesn't want to be in Iran. He wants to be in L.A. He doesn't want to deploy the military overseas. He wants to save the military for the real threat, us. He's not being hypocritical, just fucking mind-blowing. The MAGA mindset appears to be, we didn't vote for foreign wars. We voted for civil war.
This is a war. The battle for America was going to take place in Los Angeles. The only way to win here is to double and triple down.
The current war that we are seeing waged by the Democrats, by the foreign nationals waving Mexican flags.
The city of Los Angeles is an occupied city. It is time to retake the cities of this country. It is time to use force.
What the f***? They are looking for any pretense. They are looking for any pretense to sick their robot dogs on Democrats. And the strategy that they're using is to inflate the threat that this country now faces, to so rile up their base as to make the left in this country, represented by over 75 million votes in the past presidential election, as a legitimate military target for the United States of America. It's a strategy that's been used before to gin up military conflict. See if you recognize it.
The good people of Iraq, they want a peaceful country. They want security.
The good people of Los Angeles deserve to be secure in their homes.
We're not going anywhere until there is a stable environment.
We're not going anywhere. We're here to maintain the peace.
Liberate Iraq from the tyranny.
Liberate the city from the socialists.
We will liberate the people of Iraq.
We will liberate Los Angeles.
We must! They don't understand yet. We must invade Los Angeles. We cannot have the world's most dangerous people eating the world's most delicious tacos. It's so fucking absurd to paint the opposition party in your country as a fifth column, an enemy from within. But again, I don't want to overreact. I don't want to strain the metaphor too much. It's not like the right is calling for the need for a kind of Iraq-like Debathification Program to remove Democrats from government post-liberation.
We need like a debathification program, fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state, replace them with our people.
They're insane. By the way, was that guy's beard used to color J.D. Vance's eyes? So there you have it. We've got Israel stoking foreign wars. We've got the right in this country pushing for domestic war. And I haven't even gotten to the one thing this weekend that was actually really so f***ed up. It's almost too much show. You know, in fact, I'm going to break form. Let's take an intermission. Here we go. All right. Intermission over. Thank you. Welcome back to the show. All right. This is the kind of shit that I hate having to do on the show. But as you know, Minnesota was the site of horrible violence where a state house leader and her husband were killed. A state senator and his wife were shot. The only positive is that the person who perpetrated these acts has finally been caught. Finally. But what I was really struck by is what seemed to be on everybody's mind in the midst of this horror.
This morning, a lot of questions remain, like what was his motive?
Why? A motive? Why did he do this?
When do we learn about motive?
Everyone wants to know why, Bill.
His roommate, he says that the suspect was a Trump supporter.
This is a Tim Walz appointee. This is a Democrat.
I'm going to be honest, and I truly mean this. I mean no disrespect. Like, I don't give a f*** why this person did it. I just don't give a f***. I don't care. I don't care whose team he's on. I don't care if he listens to NPR or Fox News. I don't give a flying f***. What blows my mind is our resignation in the aftermath of this nonsense. What are you going to do? I don't know, put a shit ton of funding into mental health funding, put a shit ton of money into illegal weapons interdiction. Maybe that chip, maybe the, what do you call it there? Maybe the chip that Bill Gates had injected in all of us during COVID could have a self-destruct button? Take people out before they do this shit? For God's sakes, can't we do that? Grubhub knows when I want pizza. You don't think Grubhub doesn't know when people are getting murderous? What's the difference between hungry and hangry? What's the difference? We're willing to do things about other issues. We just heard about it. Why are they attacking Los Angeles right now? Why is the right so willing to tear our cities apart in this moment?
Dangerous criminals continue to flood our nation and kill our citizens.
This has to stop. I mean, I think about it for my grandkids. I mean, how safe are they in this society?
One woman or one child violated by an illegal alien is one too many.
The alarm bells were going off a long time ago. A lot of Democrats will defend this and say, well, you know, it's such a small percentage. They have blood on their hands, pure and simple. One is too many.
One is too many. One death. By the way, true. It is too many. Violence should never be accepted. It should never be tolerated. But that's for their issue. In the wake of Sandy Hook and Uvalde and Parkland and El Paso and Lewiston and Aurora and Buffalo and Boulder and Binghamton and Highland Park and Monterey Park and San Bernardino and San Jose and San Francisco and the Pulse nightclub and the Colorado Springs nightclub and the Little Rock nightclub and the Borderline Bar in Thousand Oaks and the Ned Peppers Bar in Dayton and the Waffle House in Nashville and Virginia Tech and UVA and MSU and UCSB and FSU and NIU and SMC and the Sutherland Springs Church and the Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston and the Living Church of God and the Tree of Life Synagogue and the Allen Mall and the Westroads Mall and Fort Hood and Lockheed Martin. And what are we f***ing doing? What are we doing? By the way, that is a wildly incomplete list. We kept it to the last 25 years, and it's still not everything. And what's their response to all that?
They're doing the same thing that they always do after there's a mass shooting. They politicize it.
The issue is not with the Second Amendment. Guns aren't the problem.
Does a gun commit crime?
Democrats want to take away your guns. They don't want to solve problems.
Turns out, when it comes to mass shootings, one's not too many. Actually, a shitload isn't too many. And by the way, you can say Second Amendment all you want, but you definitely don't seem to mind throwing out the Constitution when it comes to deportation. And I am legitimately asking this question. This is truly legitimate. Like, I know I can be like, but like, I am genuinely baffled. Why is it when a foreigner or someone that shouldn't be here kills one of us, we're going to put $150 billion into border security. We're going to militarize our cities. We're going to spend trillions of dollars to bomb and destabilize foreign countries overseas. We're going to ban people from random countries from ever visiting here. We're going to take our shoes off at the airport forever. But when we do it to ourselves, nothing. Is it that the only acceptable deaths are those that are made in America? Our only response now is to tally up the psycho scoreboard on whose side the perp belongs to? I honestly would like to know. Like, it makes no sense. It's jarring cognitive dissonance. This is Senator Mike Lee, all right? Great state of Utah, which, by the way, suffered a tragic shooting death at one of their No Kings events over the weekend. And just a little backstory. I've met Senator Lee. He's the best. In 2019, when we were trying to get permanent reauthorization of the Ray Pfeiffer, Louis Alvarez Droga Act, we met with Senator Mike Lee in his office down in Washington. We had a team of Feel Good Foundation and a team of first responders with us. Firefighters, cops, other people. One of the cops had been in the first tower when it collapsed, right? So all these first responders are going around the table and they are sharing their stories to try and get Senator Mike Lee to support this bill that's going to provide life-saving coverage and money to the victims of this terrible terrorist attack and the illnesses they are suffering since then. When the one cop says his story about being in the tower that collapsed and the aftermath, when he told Senator Lee about that experience, Senator Lee smiled and said, I bet you've got a lot of stories. Of like what? Spring break? Like, what are you talking about? We met a lot of people in Washington. Some were hopeful, some of those meetings. Some were upsetting meetings. That was the only meeting where we all walked out and looked at each other and went, what the is wrong with that guy? The only one. I say this for context, for why I use Senator Lee as the avatar for the insanity of this moment. Here he is on the Senate floor talking about why he is for these, you could call draconian immigration policies.
The tragic case of Lakeland Riley, a life cut short by an illegal alien. Her case represents hundreds of thousands of families across this nation whose lives have been upended by the invasion that our leaders allowed to happen.
Now, look, he's right to be upset at our leaders for allowing unsafe conditions to happen. That's fine. Here's Mike Lee tweeting this weekend about the assassination of a Democratic legislator and her husband, just hours after we all learned about this tragedy.
Republican Senator Mike Lee of Utah posted a picture of the suspect at the door of one of the lawmakers with the caption, "This is what happens when Marxists don't get their way."
And by the way, he didn't just post that. He pinned that to the top of whatever the it is that you pin stuff on Twitter, your Twitter refrigerator to show off your Twitter work. And then to let all of us know that that is not the depth of his depravity, that he can go deeper, he posted this.
The senator posted another picture with the caption, "Nightmare on Wall Street," mocking, of course, the name of the Minnesota governor.
Okay, first of all, Elm Street to Wall Street is a shitty pun. As a comedian, I must object. You've got Wolf of Wall Street just sitting there. And second, I truly want to know why in his mind, one death, the hands of an immigrant, is worth $150 billion of border security, a militarization of American cities. Well, just the blue cities. I know the undocumented immigrants in red state fields are the good ones now suddenly. That and I guess Mar-a-Lago hospitality workers. But I want to know why those deaths in Minnesota are worth only a night of edgelord shitposting. No billions for mental health, no stopping illegal weapons trafficking, no nothing. We should ask him why. I bet he's got some stories to tell.
This was supposed to be study abroad week for Trump, and things started out oh so well. He arrived at the G7 confidently, strolling out of the woods like a contestant on the Golden Bachelorette. Or a shaved Sasquatch, you know? You see what you want to see. Now, this is an important G7 for Trump because he had to prove that he had the discipline and wherewithal to fix the global economy after he f***ed up the global economy. And you know what? He almost nailed it.
We all know the great Prime Minister of the UK, and we just signed a document. This is... Sorry about that. Very important document.
Don't worry. There's a 5-second rule with trade agreements. Trump's still totally good to eat those documents. And I know some of you haters are going to make fun of him, but Trump didn't drop the papers by accident. It was a 4D chess move to check out the British Prime Minister's badonkadonk. But before Trump could sign and or drop any other trade deals, he decided to peace out.
Overnight, President Trump with an abrupt about-face, announcing he's cutting short his trip to the G7 summit in Canada, racing back to the White House instead.
I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host, but you probably see what I see, and I have to be back.
We all know what this is, right? You're at an event, you have to rush home because something came up. Look, I get it. None of us like to poop in an unfamiliar place. Sometimes when you have a big matchup coming up, you just need that home field advantage. I understand, Donald. But of course, the real reason Donald Trump rushed home to Washington was to deal with the war between Israel and Iran. And the big question was he rushing home to help negotiate an end to the war or to bring America into the war? It's the most important decision a nation can make, and one that we've whiffed on for the last, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter. The point is, it'd be really reassuring to know that the president has a clear and consistent plan. So, Mr. President, are you looking for war or a ceasefire?
We're not looking for a ceasefire. I didn't say I was looking for a ceasefire.
Oh, shit. Okay. He's not looking for a ceasefire.
We're looking at better than ceasefire.
Oh, great! Yeah, better than a ceasefire. Ceasefire plus. That's great. I hate watching ads. That's wonderful. This is good news. I'm glad you're going to negotiate with Iran.
I don't know. I'm not too much in the mood to negotiate.
Okay. All right. Not in the mood. Okay. The president's not vibing on negotiations then. So it's war. Because who would negotiate besides you, Mr. President?
He's considering sending the vice president to negotiate with the Iranians.
You know, I think this is fantastic. J.D. Vance is a great choice to negotiate. The Iranians will agree to anything to get him the out of there. You know what? And it's great for peace, because if Trump is negotiating, it sounds like we're not going to flatten Tehran anytime soon.
The president warned everyone in Iran's capital city to flee, posting everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran with no additional explanation.
You know what? I could use some additional explanation. Mr. President, I am more confused than ever. Please just sum up your explanation in one clean tweet.
President Trump has just posted new comments directed at Iran. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, and then in parentheses, kill, at least not for now.
Okay. So we know where the Ayatollah is, but he's safe. We could kill him, but we won't. For now, maybe later. We'll find out next on The Golden Bachelorette, okay? I mean, how does one tweet and have 6 different positions? I mean, clearly, we're not going to get any clarity from listening to President Trump. Maybe other people in his inner circle can shed some light on America's position. Tucker Carlson, huge supporter of the president. What do you think of the war?
I just don't want my country to be further weakened or destroyed by another one of these wars. And boy, if you can't connect the dots after 25 years of this, you're either too dumb to participate in the conversation or you're just a liar who doesn't care.
Wow. I mean, Tucker, he hasn't been this distraught since the WNBA got popular. Okay, Mr. President, I hope you understand what Tucker Carlson is saying.
I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. Thank you.
Oh, snap! Trump's like, go on TV and say it, you bitch. That's right, you can't, because you got kicked off Fox News for lying about me winning the 2020 election, which I appreciate, you bitch. So yes, Trump is not on the same page as Tucker, and he seems to be at odds with some of the other top MAGA minds as well.
The American people have been brainwashed into believing that America has to engage in these foreign wars in order for us to survive. And it's absolutely not true.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm at war with myself. And this can't be right. Keep playing the clip. I'm sure I'll find something to disagree with her on.
They don't want to hear about politics. They want to be able to afford food, and they want to be able to afford gas, and they just want to have fun. For once in their life, they want to have fun.
Yes, I still agree with her. For once in their lives, Americans just want to have fun. I don't want a war. I want to dance. Although, you know what? I'm pretty sure Americans do know how to have fun regardless of international conflicts. I've never gotten a text saying, hey, bro, territorial dispute in the South China Sea. Barbecue's canceled. So, doesn't seem like Trump is listening to the anti-war wing of his party. Maybe he'll listen to the anti-war wing of his own administration, like Tulsi Gabbard, his own director of national intelligence.
Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
Okay, what she said, I think they were very close to having one.
This is the benefit of appointing unqualified crazy people to your team. You can always be like, do you know how crazy and unqualified she is? I don't care what she said. So, Trump is beefing with the anti-war wing of his party and dismissing intelligence from his own cabinet, showing that Iran is not actually building nukes. It certainly seems to be leaning in a let's do a World War III direction. And weirdly enough, the final confirmation might be pizza.
According to an account on X called the Pentagon Pizza Report, nearly all pizza establishments nearby the Pentagon have experienced a huge surge in activity.
Here's why. When U.S. military personnel face a national emergency, they work late into the night and can't leave their desks.
At 8:57 p.m. Thursday, the Pentagon Pizza report reported that the closest and second closest Domino's to the Pentagon had surged in traffic.
Oh my God, we're going to war! Or everyone at the Pentagon just got divorced at the same time. Look, I don't know how things are going to end, but it seems like they're trending in a bad direction. I will say this, though. If you told me after Election Day that within 4 months of Trump's presidency, I'd be staring at a Domino's pizza tracker to figure out if we're going to enter the final war of mankind, I'd have said that's about right. For 2 days now, the world has been waiting for Donald Trump to decide whether to accept Israel's evite to go to war with Iran. We know he's viewed it, but he still hasn't RSVP'd. I hate it when that happens. Now, in the meantime, the question has started a separate war inside his MAGA base. And today, it exploded into a heated debate between the two most likable and charming voices on the right. On the one side is Ted Cruz, who wants war with Iran. And on the other is Tucker Carlson, who thinks Ted Cruz doesn't know shit about Iran.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Oh, damn, Ted Cruz! Are you a pair of $800 Ferragamo boat shoes? Because Tucker Carlson owned you, buddy. And Ted Cruz was like, I know the population. Just give me a second to count, okay? Let's see. There's the Ayatollah. That's one. The Iron Sheik, two. Is Aladdin one? I don't know. No. But if you enjoyed seeing Ted Cruz get metaphorically punched in the face, how would you like to see it again?
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
Oh no, not ethnic mixes. You don't want to go toe-to-toe with Tucker Carlson on ethnic mixes. That's his best subject. Look at poor Ted Cruz. He's like, I'd like to phone a friend, please. Oh shit, I don't have any. I had a waiter last night at Outback and he called me champ. Can I phone him? You know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm starting to feel bad for Ted Cruz. So come on, Ted, you got this.
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country.
This is awesome. You don't know anything. No, you don't know anything. I don't care about who wins the fight. I just like watching the fight. It's like Alien versus Predator, but somehow more gross. But you can see how heated this is getting. Clearly, MAGA is much more divided about whether to overthrow Iran than they were about whether to overthrow America. Every little comment in this interview turned into a semantic battle.
Really believe
we're
that?
Carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not
at all.
bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
We? I? You? For the party that promised no confusion around pronouns, this is really confusing. The point is, MAGA world is tearing itself apart, and everyone is waiting for Trump to make a decision. And remember, Trump abruptly left the G7 summit so he could rush back to the White House, meet with his national security team in the Situation Room, and decide if he's bringing America into this war. So we were all waiting for the big announcement. And then it came.
Trump said in a Truth Social post, "It is my great honor to announce that I will be putting up 2 beautiful flagpoles on both sides of the White House, north and south lawns."
Yes, that is definitely an announcement. Not the announcement we were waiting for, but sure, have a Couple flagpoles installed at the White House. That'll be something for the groundskeepers to take care of while you're busy in the Situation Room dealing with more important matters.
At 11 o'clock, we're lifting the flag. But we're going to lift the pole now, and then they're going to the other side.
Okay, all right. Fine, be out there introducing the whole thing. Now, back to the Situation Room.
So we'll have one on this side of the building, we'll have one on that side of the building properly placed. These are the best poles anywhere in the country, or in the world, actually. They're tapered. They have the nice top. I don't know if you people are aesthetic. They're the fake news. I don't know about I don't know there. But it's a very exciting project to me.
What's going on here? Feels like someone told him, sir, you're not doing well in the polls. And he was like, I hear you, I'm on it. And by the way, what was that aside about how the fake news doesn't understand flagpole aesthetics? I mean, this is a whole new stereotype of the liberal media I didn't even know about. They lie about Hunter Biden's laptop, and they have no appreciation for tapered flagpoles. Now, personally, I think it's cool that Trump found a new use for the 50-foot pole that Melania refuses to touch him with. He was clearly having a good time, although he stopped himself from getting too carried away.
Let's have a good, they call it a lifting. They also use another word, but I'm not going to use that word. You know what that is? The word, it starts with an E. You know what the word is? If I ever used it, I'd be run out of town by you people. All right, so enjoy it.
Oh. Come on, Donald. You think if you say the word erection, we're going to all act like children and take it out of context? I mean, come on. Come on. Where did you get a silly idea like that?
I'm going to come.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember, right. It's crazy for Trump to suddenly get all worried about saying erection. His closing campaign message was, vote for me, I saw Arnold Palmer's incredible penis. But okay, you came out, you talked about flagpoles, you met the flagpole guys, you made some flagpole-related dick jokes. Time to turn around, go back inside, and stop and or escalate this war. Let's not waste any more time.
Say what you want about Biden. He wasn't for open borders. He wasn't for transgender for everybody. We don't know where it's coming from, sir. I said, check out the tariffs. He calls back about a day later. Wow. Somewhere in this group is somebody that is going to captivate some movie producer. Not Harvey Weinstein. The only thing too late is Powell. Powell's too late. Too late, Powell. Let's have dinner. Too late. You ever have a guy that's not a smart person and you're dealing with any illegal immigrants in here now? 35 club championships. You all know that. I know that. 35 club championships. Groceries are down. Eggs are down. You know, the eggs. You know what I do whenever they talk about Gavin Newsom? I say, look at the railroad. Austria has very, very flammable trees.
Good Lord. I don't want to say anything, but if your flagpole erections last more than 4 hours, you probably want to see a doctor. Donald! Focus! 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 Get back to the flagpoles! No, wait, get back to the war! I mean war! He's got me all mixed up. Just someone ask him about the war!
Have you been answered questions about whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities? Where's your mindset on that?
I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
Great. Super helpful. Thanks, Guy. That is the key to this whole thing. Nobody knows what he wants to do, including Donald Trump. He'd rather be doing home renovation projects than figuring out how to fix all his ups. And honestly, I agree. I think we should encourage him to spend all his time on landscaping projects as opposed to bringing America into another Middle East war. Frankly, I think a lot of people would be relieved by that decision, even overjoyed. It might even give people, I don't want to say it, but it starts with an E.